Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and my first ever BookTube video. Since it's my first video, I thought doing a newbie tag would be a great way to get started, so you get to know my why for doing this. I borrowed these 15 questions from Between Chapters and Alex Tamburro while trying to figure out what to say here today. The links to both Between Chapters and Alex's videos are in the description box below. So let's jump right in. Question number one, where are you joining us from? I'm coming to you today from outside Baltimore, Maryland, where it is a very beautiful, sunny, hot kind of day. Question number two, how old are you? I'm 29, but seriously, I'll be 30 in a few weeks. Looking forward to it. Question number three, why did you join BookTube? I love reading, as if you can't tell by the plethora of books behind me. So I grew up around books, and what I don't have right now, while I have plenty to read, I don't have a whole lot of people to talk about what I'm reading and give suggestions of the next book that I should be reading. So that's why I'm here. Question number four. What's the meaning behind your channel name? So Kat's Book Nook was something that I just kind of came up with. There's really nothing special about it other than I'm Kat, and I'm going to talk about my love of books. Question number five. What types of books do you read, or what type of books do you want to talk about on your channel? So I read just about anything, as if you can't see the titles behind me. Mostly I read YA, contemporary, fantasy, mysteries. I've got a few nonfiction books, historical, graphic novels. If you haven't read Strangers in Paradise, fantastic book series. But along with reading, I'm also a writer. So I write fantasy, contemporary, LGBTQIA, but most of my stories lean towards the L section of that. But honestly, that's for another video that I'm hoping to get up on Thursday, which AuthorTube newbie tags. So same concept. Question number six. Who are some of your favorite authors? Okay, first favorite of all times that actually got me into reading and kept me going, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. I grew up with Harry Potter and am actually part of the Hogwarts running club, which wouldn't exist if it weren't for the Harry Potter series. If you like Harry Potter, if you like reading, if you like running, walking for the most part, please go check them out on Facebook at Hogwarts Running Club. It's a great place, and it feels like your family away from family, honestly. Outside of that, I've got Sherilyn Kenyon. I picked this book up from a grocery store in 2005 because I just needed something new to read. I've also got Anne Bishop. This is her first book in her other series, which just came out a couple years ago. I always go back to her books when I'm needing something kind of in between that I know that I love. She just builds her worlds so well. Along with that, I've got, sorry, I wrote down all the answers to these questions so that way I wouldn't get lost. I really like Neil Gaiman. His American Gods book, please read it. Starz is doing such a great job at putting the short miniseries sort of adaptation to it. I keep going back to it every Sunday. I have to be home by 8 o'clock to watch it. We've got Kelly Armstrong, who wrote the Bitten series, Dan Brown, who wrote Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons. This is his actual first book in the Robert Langdon series. I haven't gone back to this one, but I still really like the series. Then Mitch Albom, who came out with the Magic Strings of Frankie Presto last year. I could not put that book down. Most of the books that he's written, I'm trying to locate them on my shelf so you can see them, but I think they're down below. His Timekeeper, to me, it was one of the better books that I've ever picked up and had the pleasure of reading. It's something that I keep going back to because the message is just so good. Patricia Briggs, who this is an actual autographed copy that I picked up on my trip to Seattle 5 years ago, this July. She wrote the Mercy Thompson series, but her Masks series with Wolfbane and then her Dragon Blood and Dragon Bones books, I like those a lot better. And then there's Gabrielle Zavine. I picked this book up from Kindle Unlimited. It was the first book I ever picked up and read through that service. It was really good. Obviously, most of these books are really good. That's why they're still here. But I had to get a hard copy because I knew I was going to keep reading it. So please go check her out. So I know there's a lot more authors on these shelves that I've missed that are just really good, but those are some that I really wanted to mention. Question number 7. What's the last book you read? I just finished reading The Given by Vicky Peterson. It's a series based around Catherine Kit Craig. She is a news reporter who gets... The first book is The Taken, and the first chapter you find out that her best friend gets killed for a news story. And Griffin Shaw, who is the Centurion in charge of taking her best friend back to the Everlast, where she in turn becomes a Centurion who helps other people find their way to heaven. Griffin died 50 years earlier, and he was a PI then, and he gets the opportunity to come back to the real world in Las Vegas, and it's filled with old mobsters. But the main part of the series is what happened to Griffin Shaw. Who killed Griffin Shaw? And The Given was a very good wrap-up to the entire series because it answered a whole lot of unanswered questions the first 2 books brought. And it really focuses on what happened to Griffin and the people that are still alive that you wouldn't expect to still be alive. But you kind of get the hint that they're still alive in book 2. So, if you like angels, if you like mysteries, it's a really... Please go check them out. I happened to pick them up, and the only reason I picked them up was because the cover looked nice. So, if that makes me very shallow, I'm sorry. So, question number 8. What are you currently reading? I'm currently reading the Saga series. I own the first 4 books, graphic novels in this series, but I hadn't picked up 5 and 6 because I've kind of gotten out of the comic buying phase of my life. But I like the series, so I'm rereading them. That's what I'm working on right now because some BookTube video that I was watching last week actually mentioned these in one of her videos. So that got me thinking, hey, what's on my shelf? Volumes 5 and 6 are available at the library. I'm a library person. And figured, what the hey, might as well read them. So give me something different to read. So, moving right along. Question number 9. Sorry. 9. What do I use for bookmarks? I find myself reading physical books more on the train, so I use old train ticket stubs. That's my bookmark. Question number 10. Show us your current to-be-read pile. I kind of sort of am. So we're moving hopefully soon. So I'm trying to get through as many of these books as possible so I can do an unhaul video, which everything pretty much on the shelf is up for options except Harry Potter, Strangers in Paradise, the Anne Bishop books that I have, some of the Neil Gaiman books that I have. I own a Nancy Boys, Stardust, Graveyard Book, and a few of his other novels. But pretty much everything behind me is on my to-be-read list. That's a couple hundred books. Outside of that, what I'm reading right now with the Saga series, I would really like to get to the Harry Potter series again sometime this year, just because one of the book clubs that I'm in with the Hogwarts Running Club is rereading the entire series. Would also like to reread the Strangers in Paradise series because that's a yearly thing for me. So I'll let you know how that goes. Question number 11. Which do you prefer? This is a 3-part question. Hardcover or paperback? Honestly, either works, but I lean more towards the paperback just because it's easier to carry. Ebooks or physical books? Physical books for my commute because, you know, flipping through the pages is just so much easier. And it doesn't drain my battery nearly as often when I'm traveling. And ebooks if I'm in a low period at work and I find myself being able to read a little bit. Owning or borrowing books? This one's kind of a difficult part to this question because I love borrowing books, and if I find a book that I really, really enjoy from the library, I may try to find it physically hard copy if I know that I'm going to reread that book series sometime down the road. Question number 12. What book series got you into reading? Like I mentioned, I grew up reading Harry Potter, so that kind of fed what was already going on because my family was readers. We had bookshelves. This is nothing compared to what we had growing up. We had the entire wall covered with books. What got me into reading, which isn't really part of this question, but something that I kind of wanted to say, was I started at 4 or 5 reading the Little Mermaid books, the Disney books that they came out with in the early 90s. And that was just how I started teaching myself how to read. It was great. I'm a Little Mermaid fan, so throwing Disney out there too. Question number 13. How did you discover BookTube? So speaking of my love of Harry Potter, I actually discovered BookTube through a Clockwork reader's list of 5 book recommendations with Slytherin characters because I'm a Slytherin. She actually has videos on all the Hogwarts houses, and I'll put the link to those videos in the description box below. So question number 14. What challenges do you think you'll face with your own channel? So honestly, I get really nervous in front of a camera, and I am not the most consistent person when it comes to keeping on top of things. So being consistent and uploading videos when I say I'm going to upload videos may be my biggest challenge. But hopefully, with the help of all you wonderful people, I will get held accountable and actually post when I'm supposed to post. So question number 15. Where else can we find you? So this is where I'm supposed to shout out to all my social media platforms. So I'm on Facebook. I haven't completely uploaded that page yet, but I'll link to that page along with my Twitter feed and the blog post that I have through WordPress down in the description box below, so that way you guys can find me and hopefully like some of my other things too. So with that, thank you all for watching, and I look forward to coming back to you guys with my AuthorTube newbie tag video on Thursday. Have a great Sunday and a wonderful Father's Day to all those great fathers out there, and see you guys Thursday.